Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the makers of College Dragons, we're going to talk about how you'd build a Shadow Manticore. Because although I already made a Sand Lizard long ago for my Mag Zay, the Shadow Manticore seems to be really good on Magrat and Zeta, specifically because the Shadow Manticore is going to go in, and whenever you heal, have a chance to do some extra damage once you get the end of season skill. The Shadow Manticore actually honestly looks just pretty good all around. So let's review the skills here, and I'll put up on screen a sort of template that you could follow. I wouldn't say this is prioritized, but it is a template for how you could build a Shadow Manticore, and I think it's a really solid one until you get end of season skills. So let's get a look here at the Shadow Manticore skills. You can do that, by the way, by going into your pet enclosure and hitting the skill section. We'll look at the 3-star version, scroll all the way down, and here we go. Barbarism, the talent skill. It deals damage to the target legion, and you heal with a base damage and healing factor of 100, and your damage factor goes up based on your luck rating. Really powerful. Now, in addition to that, I think it's probably a good idea to get Intense Barbarism. This makes it so that your Barbarism just does more damage, and if you have high luck, this seems like a really solid option. If you had high Strength, there's an alternative you could do instead that may actually end up being cheaper, and we can certainly go and talk about that. But the way that you're going to enhance your Barbarism damage is by adding in a few other things. One package of skills that I really, really like. It's 3 skills together, and technically there is a 4th option. And honestly, we can just sort by agility, luck, strength, because this is all we're going to be doing. And that 3-skill package is going to be to increase your crit rate and increase your crit damage and just increase your damage in general. So we're talking about the Angry Roar, giving you pet crit rate, Blood Roar, giving you pet crit rate, and then Fatal Bite, making it so that you do more crit damage. That is an amazing combination of skills. It's basically the template for almost all pets these days, it would seem. And the sort of additional skill you could use before you go into kind of end of season skills will be Tooth and Claw, giving you some extra damage. The Tooth and Claw, I would say, is the lowest priority skill, to be perfectly honest. And the reason it is the lowest priority skill is because there are 2 other pet skills that I think are very critical that we haven't really talked about yet. One of them is going to be Chain Strike. Chain Strike counts as an extra normal attack, which for a lot of heroes adds a lot of really, really cool synergies. So 50% chance to do an extra normal seems really good. In addition, I think that it's pretty solid to get Intense Chain Strike as well. Just really amp up the damage. Personally, I would not go for the Advanced Chain Strike end of season skill. I think I'd rather have the Intense Chain Strike damage. Magrat and Zeta already have a lot of sustain. You could double down on that plan and just stay really, really healthy, but I think I'd rather just have the damage. Both of these are agility skills, and at this point, I think we're locked into, 3 agility skills, right? We've got Intense, we've got Chain, and we've got Angry Roar. So we are, at that point, locked up on agility skills. Now, I will say one thing that's kind of a bummer is that I feel like Timely Strike and also Eviscerate are incredibly good on Mag Zay. So, you could make an argument for going with a much, much cheaper version of this pet, where you just completely slice off that damage package of the Angry Roar, Blood Roar, Tooth and Claw, all that stuff, and you just go with a cheaper package of the Timely Strike and Eviscerate. And I'll show you what I did with my Sand Lizard back before this pet was released, where I do something very similar. Even hit weakness can be very, very good. Increasing your normal critical damage is pretty solid. So there is sort of an alternate package you can use here, but I think this Angry Roar, Blood Roar, Fatal Bite is the best way to go. Why is that? Well, in addition to going for Intense Chain Strike, the end of season skill here is just really, really powerful. It is a strength-based skill. It's Advanced Barbarism. Warped has an 80% chance to deal additional damage to the target when healed by a hero skill. Wow. Base damage factor is 20, and I mean, if you're healing on every turn with Mag and Zay, don't you just have like a shocking amount of damage coming from this? Right? Like this pet has a really high strength rating. So we're talking about 65 damage factor. Okay. Now, technically, you could cut that by 4/5, but like, because it's 80% chance to trigger. My strength is insanely high on this particular pet. This is not a Shadow Manticore. But if we look at the skills on Mag and Zay, right? Like whenever you heal, that happens, huh? Well, I mean, if variable healing can trigger it, that's insane. All right? That's actually just insane. And also over here, you've got another heal that can happen. So that's 2 healing abilities right there. And it's hero skills that trigger it. So the weirdness of this pet is that I think you really want 8 skill slots. You almost certainly are not getting a pet like the one I showed earlier, and I'll put that back on screen from my Alliance member who just absolutely got, I mean, why can't I do that with my Moonbear, bro? Actually asking. That's insane. That's actually just insane, that Shadow Manticore. I got a really good pet right over here. It's a Sand Lizard. I built this long before I had the option of a Shadow Manticore. And I don't know that I want to commit off of this. Or, I mean, just be kind of expensive to rebuild this pet. Maybe at some point I'll do that. But you can see here I took my own advice. I went for the Timely Strike, Evis, and Chain Strike and Hit Weakness sort of package there. And I'm enhancing the healing, which I don't think these currently stack, which is a weirdness. Like this, I think, is doing literally nothing for me right now, which is silly. But anyways, I got to get that sorted out. But the rest of this pet's looking pretty good. And this is the end of season skill here with the agility, making it so that I heal my party every 4 seconds. This is cracked, bro. It's so good. But this is not a Sand Lizard video. It's a Shadow Manticore video. But I wanted to show you why. It's like, well, yeah, I want a Shadow Manticore, but I'll just have to get to that when I get to that. Gosh darn it. And that won't be today. Today, I'm in a garrison. And I'll be in a garrison, hopefully, if I'm lucky, till the end of the season. Man, I don't know. What a weird season. Anyways, we don't need to talk about this season. I will say, you know, it's interesting being on a map so obviously designed for 2v2v2. But I think very, very, very few people will ally for 2v2v2. I think what is most likely going to happen is the dominant group or alliance will create a situation that's just an easy win for them, where they lock somebody out right away. And like, spoiler alert, you know? So I hope we actually, personally, like if we have the option to queue for this or literally anything else, I would pick literally anything else that is not this map design, personally. And I, you know, otherwise I think the map design is really cool. I think if people actually played 2v2v2, it would be really interesting, but I don't think there's a way to make that happen. And so unless groups are like shockingly evenly matched or are not just trying to create easy wins for themselves, which people usually will, I think you're not going to get to experience what this map really could offer. I think most of the time it's just going to be a cheesed win. But whatever. That is the Shadow Manticore and an unintentional rambly season update. Where, look, I just had a baby. I'm exhausted. I haven't slept much. I've slept this much. So I'm going to get back after it. But hopefully you enjoyed the vid. If you got any other thoughts about the Shadow Manticore and the ways you could build it, or even which heroes you pair it with, definitely let me know down below in the comments. There are a number of heroes that do healing, like, as silly as it sounds, right? Like, you could do something like that on Garwood. Garwood's got a skill that heals, but I don't think it's really designed for that, right? Like, it's not actually designed for Garwood, plus you could pair with Chisgule. Where is my Chisgule, right? Like, Chisgule heals. I mean, you know, I don't think so. But maybe. Who else has a lot of healing? I mean, I guess Indus. Is this an Indus pet? Do you start with the Indus and then work your way up? I don't know. your thoughts down below in the comments. And if you want to see the video where my city got rallied, holy cow, they rallied me with 4 rallies. 4! A quad rally. Video will be over here. That was crazy, man.